Hello, and welcome to the Voice of the Veteran Show, the #1 show in the entire nation for firsthand veteran experience at the VA. I am your host, Gail, Army Airborne, along with our producer in the back, MC Franklin, who's running things back there for us and keeping us. Oh, there he is. Thank you, Franco, for showing up today. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go. I just want to make sure that you know that in the chat box I put over here, I don't know if you can see it, but we're going to show you. I'm just going to mention it out loud because it's important. The Voice of the Veteran Show. There's a link for it, www.thevoiceoftheveteran.com. We have recorded shows that you can watch anytime on the various subjects that we've covered on the show. So feel free to watch those whenever you want to. There you go. There's MC Franklin. He's taking care of that. Yes, please. Right there. That's where you access that. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about Memorial. I had a great Memorial Day. It wasn't sad. Sometimes Veterans Memorial Days can be a sad event, that kind of thing. But, for me, it was an uplifting theme this year. And it seemed to be all about courage, the word courage. And I didn't attend a ceremony this year, kind of COVID, even though the cemeteries are open at the VA now and everything, or the national cemeteries. I just didn't feel like going. So what I did was I got a bunch of snacks and I sat down and I watched war films. All kinds of famous battles all throughout history. Vietnam and World War II and the Civil War and, all these different battles. It was absolutely fascinating to watch them all over again. And a day of, where I could just let the air out of my shocks, and just kind of chill a little bit. And it turned out to be a great day. And I think it's impossible to watch these films, about Bastogne and the Battle of the Bulge and everything without actually feeling uplifted and feeling courageous ourselves, just watching, what those men took on our behalf as Americans. And, I always thought that, some people are just courageous and other people are not, and are just not, but I smiled and gathered courage as they all called each other names. You know how we do in the military. We're always telling jokes on each other, or we're calling each other names and stuff like that. And I had to laugh when they start calling each other. One guy says, "You're all a bunch of hairballs. Are all a bunch of hairballs, and we're not in a pillow fight here, for crying out loud. Let's see some energy and some courage, and then you're all a bunch of ballerinas, and I'm just laughing. And it was Memorial Day, and I just had a really great time. And then I watched the Audie Murphy film, Red Badge of Courage, and their lack of courage and how they transitioned into having courage because of a camaraderie between all of them together. And they turned into great bravery. And, I felt confident watching the movie that they were going to win that battle. You know what I'm saying? So Americans are really courageous in a bunch of different ways. And I thought of my daughters as military wives and how courageous they are at home, dealing with the possibility of ever losing a loved one. And, deployments and injuries, and their continued advocacy for active duty and veterans as well. And they're not a bunch of short rounds. Those two daughters of mine can go all the way. I'm telling you, they really can. And the military taught me that being courageous defines all the rest of our behavior. And the big secret there is that I learned is that I don't actually have to be courageous. Pretending to be courageous works just as well. I know a lot about that, as I've referenced airborne over and over in my lifetime. And why? Because for me, it's a way to access courage from my military experience. To wear my airborne bracelet is a way that I access courage in my experience. And it's a way to tap into a continued combined courage that the military teaches us how to go far beyond what we ever thought we could expect of ourselves. And it's accessing that in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That was a great Memorial Day. But the point here is that when I feel unsure as a veteran and I feel maybe like at a loss in life, there is courage in our common military connection. And we all understand that common despair of missing the excitement of our military challenges. It's a different kind of heightened level of experience when you're in the military. And there's a dichotomy between that challenge and the anxiety of wanting to never ever feel threatened in our lives again, but how important it is to understand the difference. And, you know, risk can be a really addictive drug. And I miss my military experience. And at the same time, enough is enough sometimes. So just wanted to share my Memorial Day experience with you, and it was all about courage. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are have a lot of courage too, and all the things that you're dealing with in life and at the VA. Hey, guess what? We've got a great guest today, Elizabeth Yo. Yo, yes, it's spelled Y-E-O, but it's Yo. And I want to bring her on right now and chat with her and say welcome to Elizabeth, who, welcome, Elizabeth.
Hello. And thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing some time with us today on the Voice of the Veteran show. And now you and I, we met, last month at the VFW San Fernando VFW Women Honoring Women Veterans event. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
It was a happy event. It was fun. So and you got an award.
Fantastic. So fantastic. Yeah. Yes.
And you got an award.
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations.
2 awards. I got 2.
Where were they from? Who were they from?
One was from the city of Los Angeles.
That's right.
One was from the assembly members, one of the assembly members for the state of California.
Excellent.
So, and I did not know I was getting those. So what a blessing and a great surprise.
Yes, absolutely. And congratulations on that. And I mean, when I met you, I just said right off the bat, Elizabeth, you need to do the podcast. And here you are. I mean, it hasn't been very long, and I'm so happy that you're here today. Now, I understand that you are the founder and the CEO of Veteran Charities Initiative. Did I get that name correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, yes. Why don't you just tell me in your own words about the mission of that, and how in the world did you ever determine that businesses needed this kind of setup for veterans? You know, so I'll just throw things in there as I think of something else. I'll just interrupt you, but just kind of go for it.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity and honor and being able to share today. Thank you so much, Gail. Yes, our mission is to help companies realize the benefit of having women veteran leaders in the ranks of their organizations. That is our mission. I have been out for 30 years now. And when I got out, I was just hitting my 20s and went right into corporate America. I went to one job fair and ended up landing a position in IT back in the day with one of the big 5 accounting firms at that time. So over the 30 years, I have worked with one recruiter or staffing agency after another. And that's both for veterans, like just military focused type placement agencies, and civilian. And the one caveat that I saw that really changed the whole trajectory for me was that I always see veterans, organizations helping veterans, because the transition is hard, as we all know. It's a difficult one when we get out. Some of us go in as kids, like I did. I was only 19. So I really hadn't, I never had to interview for a major job, and I never, I didn't have that experience. And most don't, really, when you think about it. We go in as kids and we come out as adults, and there's no training or transition readiness, if you will, for us coming out. So when you get out, you just do what you know, or maybe someone told you. And my thing was to jump right into IT and corporate, as was my MOS. So I found that I was always not being paid what I was worth. I always found that the jobs I was being offered were very low level, not really realizing or placing me for the skill set that is very vast that we have as military veterans.
Now, I have a question right there for you. I have a quick question. Just came to my mind. What did you do in the military? You were in the Navy, is that correct?
That is correct.
That's right. Now, you were in the Navy. What was your job in the Navy?
My job was I was a cryptology technician operator. I was part of the C2. Yeah, I worked in Intel.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so, and why don't you tell the people in our audience what cryptology is?
In today's terms and layman's terms, it's really cybersecurity. I mean, that is what it is. And back then in the 90s, nobody had ever heard the word cryptology. So it wasn't like an easy translation for me or a job. Nobody could really explain nor understand what I could do. It was it was very difficult, the transition. So one of our many times the Intel is co-located, as you know, with people from Lockheed, space engineers, people who do satellite work. So a lot of our communications is satellite based. So my only saving grace was that I worked with a Lockheed space engineer. He was a part of our team, and he really, yes, ma'am, and he is the one who helped prep me and got me ready for when I was getting ready to exit out, showed me how to write a resume, helped me to understand what my skills were as it translated into an IT environment. And if I would not have had that, God only knows how long it would have taken me even then to get where I am today.
Well, so basically you didn't have any transitional things like the TAP program or like Rocio Palmero at US.
Oh my, there was none of that.
Transitional Tuesday. Yeah, none of that existed. We're lucky to have all that going on with Rocio and the group there at US Vets. But go ahead, just go ahead. I'm just thinking all this stuff as you're saying.
I love it. I love the dialogue. So
no, exactly. Go for it.
So I found that, I felt like a similarity that I use often is that transitioning out of the military is very similar to aging out of foster care. It's like, here's your DD-214. Thanks for your service. Get your bag of stuff. We'll dump you wherever you want to be. At point. So it's just like, okay. Yeah, stick a pin in a map, and
that's it. You're done. You're done.
Exactly. There's no help. There's no transition. There's no supportive services. It was none of that then. And so I just went to a staffing agency. I went to a recruiter. I went to job fairs all on my own, and learning by trial and error all these years that the missing piece was that the organizations, the businesses, although they may be willing to hire veterans, they have no idea what a veteran is. They don't understand the mindset of a veteran. They don't understand the background of a veteran. It's a very skewed and narrow view of what a veteran even looks like. So I ask people in my audience when I'm speaking to them a lot of times, pull out your phone and Google the word veteran or military veteran. And what images come back for you? I mean, do you see a lot of people that look like me or you, Gail? Or do you see a lot of men in combat on the field or old men who already retired? It's very few faces in the crowd that look like us. And people
or when you walk in with your husband, if he may even be a civilian, and how many times has that happened to you? I have a friend. Let me tell you this. I have a friend, right? Christina Garcia, right? Yes. I'm gonna tell this story. So anyway, Christina Garcia goes in to get a prescription filled, right? And they turn right to her husband and have all the conversation with her husband. And she goes, I'm the veteran. I am the veteran. And it happened to her 3 times in one weekend at the pharmacy, I think at a clothing store, and I can't remember the other place. Now, the other thing I want to say is one day, now my husband and I were both veterans. Okay. But we went to a service organization. It was the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. And they said, we want to introduce a couple today. One is airborne and the other one is in ASA, Army Security Agency. They all went running up to my husband and said, hey, I understand you're airborne. He said, no, that would be my wife. That went on all the time. So I just need you to appreciate that. Does that happen to you?
It's happened to me so many times in 20
years.
Good. I can't. I don't even keep count. it's almost become expected. Like, I have to just say, nope, it's me. I'm the one, hello. So, it's
I'm the veteran. I'm the veteran.
Yeah. Right. And even when I got out, even then, IT, there weren't a lot of women in IT then. So when I was in IT, I was one of only, all my team was men and it was me. And, so it was, even at that point, I was still, not regarded as, one of an equal level playing field. And I feel like it's still that gap. Even today, it's less, it's getting better, but there's still a huge misunderstanding on the corporate side about what value veterans bring in leadership positions in their organizations. Because especially now in this divisive time that we're in, we're very divided as a nation. We're very divided on so many levels, so many issues. And no one really looks to the veteran community to kind of really bridge that, heal that, bring people back together, because we're nonpartisan. That's what we do. That's what we were really trained to do. We go into wherever we're told. We don't pick sides. We do our job. We get out.
That's right.
Period. That's it. And so right now, people really need to look to what are the values that veterans bring to the table. I mean, we're always looking at, and the misconception is comparing us to U.S. college graduates that just come out of school, go to college, and come in for the job. We're not the same. We are, and many of us are college graduates on top of being a veteran. And so it's a very skewed way of how they interview us, the questions you ask. We're not necessarily self-advocators. We're not taught to do that. Our military nature is not to advocate for self at all. So we're very selfless servants. That's what we're taught and ingrained in us is to think that way. So when we get out, without having some transition, some undoing of some of those mindsets to be able to, acquiesce into the civilian sector, it's very difficult. And so I think it would be beneficial, I know, which is why I created this company, is to go in for an educational voice for the veterans, especially women veterans, because even though we might be in leadership positions, we still are in minuscule percentages compared to our male counterparts, our brothers and sisters, right?
Now, what is it? Now, I know for a fact, because I remember well, you've been out for 30 years. I went to jump school in 1977, so excuse me. But I remember them saying, at the time that women were 7% of the overall active duty military force. Is it 14 now? I think it is.
It's 17%.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much.
So
I knew it was.
We're inching up there.
And isn't it also the fastest growing minority group?
Yes.
Go for it. Tell me more about that.
We are. We are the fastest growing minority group within the military and the fastest growing business group, the sector of women veteran business owners in the civilian sector.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's growing as well. It's like 300 plus businesses have come into play since 2012. And so we're going crazy, especially after COVID. It's like we're realizing, and I wrote a book a couple of years back, and I mentioned that a lot of veterans.
Oh, wait a minute now. What was the name of it?
It was a Money Matters series called Business. It was the Business Leaders Edition for the Money Matters series. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure and hear about that on my own. Go ahead. Tell me what you're telling. Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, a lot of us become business owners out of necessity. It's hard for us to transition into a good civilian role. A lot of times we don't translate well what we did sometimes, or it's hard to find a good fit for us. We're leaders naturally. So when we have to go in and not have that type of a position, sometimes it's very difficult. And just becoming an entrepreneur out of necessity ends up being the case. That was the case for me. I needed to have income, take care of my family, and I didn't have time to wait around for somebody to recognize all the skills I had. I just had to be the change and put them to work. And so that's what I'm here to encourage my veteran brothers and sisters to do, especially women, because naturally women are not self-advocators. We have that caretaking role, and we have to, kind of play those qualities into our strengths as well, and stand for and command, what we deserve and what we're worthy of.
Now, tell me what kind of companies are you working with or working on contracts with? I mean, exactly how does that work? I mean, are you directly dealing with them, or is this something you go through the VA and the government with?
No.
I mean,
I'm
Okay.
directly. It's directly. I want to be one-to-one with the actual C-level execs,
Yeah.
decision makers. That's who I want to connect to. I'm
Well, that
looking to
seems wise.
be not just a placement agency. A lot of people will place veterans and then they're on their own. But as you and I know, veterans need a lot of support. They need support to sustain, period. So we want to be that company because we understand the veteran mindset. We understand the veteran need. We also want to continue supportive services inside that corporate space because a lot of corporations either A, don't provide it or cannot provide it. And that's understandable. That's not their focal point, but it is ours. So if we can partner with, and that's what I look to do, I'd like to partner with you to be your supplier of supportive services for the veterans you may already have staffed and or help you attain more veterans to provide staffing, to fill your staffing needs and continue those supportive services for the new hires as well.
Interesting. So you shadow the veterans to what level? Do you just follow up with them to see what's going on? Or if they need help at the VA, do you refer them to medical? Is that what I'm hearing?
That is the supportive services I'm talking about, all encompassing. So my job is, in my company is to go out and make sure I'm making these partnerships and alliances with organizations like your next guest coming up, Olivia, who helps veterans if they need help getting their benefits, if they have a problem that they need some services for. I want to be that one-stop shop for them. They shouldn't have to go all around while trying to focus on doing their job for that organization, looking for whatever they may need at any given point. I'd like to be a resource and provide those connections to those vets that are staffed there.
So would you actually, I'm just trying to get a handle on this now, would you actually play, you know I'm going to ask another question, I can't help myself. No, this is wonderful. So would you actually like place a person with that company who's a veteran that might, like, for instance, I'm a VSO at the hospital. I don't know if you know that or not, but I think maybe we've talked about it. I don't know.
A little bit. Yeah.
Veteran service officer helps. I'm just saying it for the people watching. Veteran service officer, a VSO, is someone that a veteran comes into to establish an intent to file on a claim and gets that paperwork over and started out with the VA over in the federal building or the federal building office or whatever it might be at any given VA, but it's pretty much the same thing. And they're middle and at the federal building. So would a VSO, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about VSOs in general. Otherwise, I'm not pitching for a job here.
We'd love to have you, Gail.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, maybe. Yeah, American Legion won't like that right now. Let me know. So would it be a possibility that a VSO would actually be located or in a business so that the veterans could come and see them right there at their work location? I see Kathy Cash there. Thank you, Dr. Kathy Cash, for watching the show. Yeah, you know her too. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Kathy. All right. Yeah. But anyway, is that something that might happen? Because veteran service officers are, I'm going to say this too for the audience, they're located at the individual service organizations like the American Legion, the VFW, the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. They will have office hours maybe, at a Tuesday here and a Wednesday at another location or whatever. They kind of move around. So would that be something?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, good. I was following
many corporations, and we're talking about big corporations here that could actually, accommodate that. A lot of small businesses might not be able to accommodate or need that, but bigger businesses, Fortune 100, 500, they could actually accommodate that. And so that's what I'm talking about. They don't know about this. They don't even understand what possibilities they have in making sure that their veterans that they employ are serviced and have access immediately if they need it. It would be so helpful to have it on site instead of having to take off work. You lose man time, man hours. They have to drive. They might have to take a day off. Whereas if you know that this rep is going to be there Monday or Tuesday of every week, hey, you can make it right on site, make it all convenient. They can go right back to work, do it on their lunch break, do it after work, before work. I mean, we want to be able to give options to our veterans because there's a lot of turnover, with veterans in the civilian sector. It is. And a lot of it is just trying to maintain, go get through the transition. And a lot of times we're wasting our own time looking for services that we need, or not realizing what services are out there that provide supportive services that we need. It's just such a huge, area that one person cannot possibly, nor has time to try to figure out and go through trial and error of what really works and what doesn't, what service is really, legit, and what one doesn't even care. So that's where we want to just stopgap that. We want to be that bridge, and working with you and working with others who provide services to veterans. This is what we want to do. We want to go into their space and educate them on the value of this, because in turn it saves them money on the bottom line, because you're not going to have the turnover. You're not going to have the hours missed. Work days have to be missed, things of that nature.
I understand. So retainability of veterans. And, when I think about it, we've talked a lot about homeless issues on this show, and that's going to keep that from happening as much, because if somebody's there to actually support them, and the VA is a confusing place. And this show, I always try to be positive about the VA, and some days it's difficult.
I know.
It's just difficult because I can't tell you the number of times that I personally, and this is about firsthand experience at the VA, this show. So anything you want to say on that after I say this, please do. But again, be positive, I've had people walk in the front door, or found them crying in their car, because they just can't even figure out where things are.
Right.
And it's this new transitional letting your breath out. This is tough.
Right.
I was just a so-and-so, and now I don't even know where I fit into things these days,
Absolutely.
And I'm hearing you. This is a huge, huge thing. And that's what I think, you're talking about big, like Booz Hamilton Allen, and, big companies, or Toyota, or whoever.
These are companies that do mass hirings. These are companies that really do, hire veterans. Smaller companies do as well. And I'm all for all companies, no matter who it is that wants to hire, no matter the size. But the bigger ones, it's harder. It's harder for us in that mega corporate space. I've been there. I've lived that. I've done that. So I understand that. And I know if I would have had these services, Gail, because I've been that person sitting outside the VA crying in my car. Okay.
Oh, so you know. Okay.
Yes,
no, it's real, and they don't know what else to do. You're just praying for a buddy to come out and tap on the window and say, "Are you okay?
Right.
What can I do to help you? Do you need to just find the restroom?" Seriously.
Right.
It's that big of a deal.
It is. It is that big of a deal. And so that's why, I don't see many companies doing what I created this company to do. I've been there. I've been in the corporate space all this time. So I know it's not there. And I know we need it there, because I'm sure that it would have helped save me from walking away from a job many years ago. I probably would still work there if I would have had some support, some resources, some options, just to educate me on what my possibilities were, where I could go, but you get frustrated. It's hard, and you need a buddy. You need that. So that's what I'm looking to be in that corporate space, because it's not there, Gail.
No. And I'm wondering even if, there are situations, and I don't even know if this is reasonable or possible to mention, but if we can't imagine it, we never know what we're capable of doing. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I'm even wondering if the PTSD group or veteran, weekly group session would be something in these larger corporations, where somebody could go to the actual location and they could meet as a group, so they know who the other veteran, where they're working. You know what I mean?
a lot of times I ask I'm talking about these owners, company owners, CEOs, CFOs. How many veterans do you have working for you now? Are you open to hiring veterans? Yes, we love hiring veterans. That's fantastic. Well,
Yep.
what percentage of veterans do you currently have on your helm right now?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. You don't know.
They don't know.
So, that's something you need to know. This is a very, veterans are set apart. We really are. Okay. We went to the call of duty, especially when you served, Gail. I mean, you set the way for me and women after me. We're constantly trying to improve it for the next generation.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But it shouldn't stop when we get out. We have got to continue that. And it's only our voice that can really carry that into that space. So that's what I'm here to do.
I love that. I love that. And I love your work, and congratulations. And what a great thing. And I want to just share one thing before we to you, because I was just going to use it as a little transitional note. But, this VSO note that I have here about revoking your power of attorney. Do you know that if you have an outside attorney, and VSOs are free of charge, but attorneys take a certain percentage of our benefits when we finally get benefits, and there might be a check with I can't even think of the word, where you get back pay. That's what I was trying to think of.
Sure.
It never happens anymore. So you know what I'm saying? I forgot the word. So when you get back pay, you sign a contract for a certain percentage that attorney will get from that money.
Right.
Now, let's say that you don't want to use that attorney anymore because it's taking too long, or you want to sign a power of attorney with somebody like me or VFW, American Legion, and you want to sign that POA, power of attorney, with them. If you don't fully revoke that power of attorney in writing with a court-stamped letter, that money will be given to them, check it out, no matter what. And you thought you were going to get all this money because you moved over to a free service VSO at the VA, and now that attorney is still getting their, who knows, 20, 30, 40%, whatever you contracted for. That's a legal contract. And I just always want people to know that it's important to follow through, make sure that letter is in your records with the regional office or your VSO, so that doesn't happen to you, because you're going to be one sad, pissed off veteran if you don't know that information, And I suppose that's what people at your work location or office for veterans would know, that kind of thing, and mention these kind of updates and informationally to them, and probably be emailing all the veterans in that business about updates and things.
That's why, in addition to, one of my partnerships and companies I'm aligned to is a legal entity, and I became certified, especially in the small business sector, for employee benefits, because in this day and age, you cannot afford to not know what legalities surround whatever your situations are.
That's
you
right.
need to be informed, and you need somebody who's standing for you on your side, not just some random attorney waiting for the paycheck. So, I'm always looking for services affordable for the everyday man, because every man every day deserves to have legal protection. You shouldn't have to be wealthy, and it shouldn't be out of reach for anyone, because every day we have some type of legal issue. You're signing a contract, you're being mistreated, anything.
Buying a home, everything, and these POAs, these power of attorneys, the VA is required, those VA attorneys specifically are required to update those POAs every 5 years. So you really want to be on top of, who you have as an authority about this process, and again, BS mandated by Congress. They can't take a dime for their services, and that's just the way it is. Hey, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm really happy that you were here. You have wonderful information, and I look forward to talking with you further and referring veterans to your services and you chatting it up with them, because, just like me, I mean, if you know of something where they need to find a doctor for something, specifically at the hospital, please feel free to call me or text me or whatever. And, let's work together on this kind of thing to just make it, better.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
people I don't want to find any more people crying out in the parking lot.
Right.
They ought to have a badge, a VA
feeling.
badge. I cried my ass off out in the parking lot one day at the VA, bunch of hairball ballerinas, you know what I mean? Find some courage here, let's muster our courage up together and,
yes,
help each other out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
all right.
Ma'am.
Well,
yes,
I'm going to say goodbye to you, but not goodbye permanently. And I hope you'll come back and tell me more about any new stuff that's going on. Tell me the name of your book one last time.
Money Matters, Business Leaders Edition, Volume 1.
Money Matters. And by you, right? Not a pseudonym?
Yes, it was a collaborative, and my chapter is chapter 6, a woman veteran from exit to entrepreneur.
Oh, man. You just sounded all kinds of smart.
Fake it till you make it, right?
yeah, fake it till you make it. That's what being courageous is all about. You don't have to be courageous. It's about fake it till you make it. That's right. I love you. Thank you very much for being here. All right. I look forward to speaking with you again. Great interview, great information.
Yes,
yeah. Drive carefully. All right. Boy, that was good, wasn't it? I'll tell you something. I got something to tell you right now before we transition over to our second guest. I want to talk about I got to slow down. That was good stuff. But I want to talk to you about, we've got a whole new trend going on here post-pandemic, and we're just an inch away from finally getting over this pandemic. And I still see a lot of people wearing masks, not wearing masks, but I want to confess to y'all that I am a rebellious mask wearer. Okay. So on June 15th in California, we're hearing all over the news, and that's coming up, that it is the official no mask wearing requirement. Now, there's always confusion about these government mandates. I mean, I work at the VA, and mandates are always confusing. They just are. You got to parse it out and see exactly what did they mean by that. And I'm wondering, does this mean that I can't wear a mask if I want to? I mean, think about it. I'm a rebellious mask wearer for sure. I'm telling you. And, are the police going to now give us tickets or something if we wear a mask? I mean, think about it. Can you wear a mask into the bank? I mean, heck, in Texas, you can wear a mask and you can carry a gun right into the bank these days. I mean, it's crazy what goes on down there. I mean, you can wear a hoodie and a mask and a gun. I mean, it's amazing. So, to know that I like wearing a mask because, I mean, there's all kinds of germs just flying all around out there. And, it's nasty stuff. And I say, people made fun of Howie Mandel and Howard Hughes. I mean, and look who's looking stupid now. Seriously. Now, in Hollywood, people are just jonesing. I'm telling you, jonesing for the comedy clubs to open again. And as a comedian, standing on stage with a bunch of drunks, drinking and eating food and laughing and covering me and spraying me with all these germs and stuff, I think maybe I'll just, be a rebellious mask wearer and wear a mask on stage all the time. As a matter of fact, I have one right here. I've got this one right here. This is the mask I was thinking of wearing right here. And, I'll just keep that on, and that way they can clearly hear me through, the microphone right through that hole right there. But at least I'll be safe. I'll still have my mask on. You know what I'm saying? And did you see on the news where the CDC announced that you can wear, you don't have to wear a mask outside anymore? You just, Joe Biden, the president, he's on TV and he's finishing up all his questions, about the, from the press. They ask him all these questions and stuff. And so they're talking about the CDC and you don't have to wear your mask outside. Well, he walks right outside the White House, puts his mask right on. I mean, seriously, was he saying, screw the CDC, or is it just that much of a habit anymore? And that's our fearless leader right there. Puts that mask right on, even though he doesn't have to. But so people, you know, I've got like, I don't even know what to do with all these masks I still have anymore. Looky here. I've got like 2 boxes of these masks, you know, and who even has all these masks like this? It's craziness. I don't know. But if I change one out every day, I'd have one for years. You know, I'm serious. But the reason I have all those is because I had them for my office, you know, so if anybody even comes in with a cold or anything like that, you know, I can at least give them a mask to wear, you know. I mean, well, probably a good idea, right? So maybe everybody's just going to go commando now, and it's just not going to wear any underwear either. I don't know. It's just like, take it off, everybody, take everything off, just run around naked. You know what? We've got a next guest coming up. Let's see if we can get her on here. I think she's pilot, used to be a pilot, and she probably flies planes in her birthday suit these days. And her name is Olivia. And let's see if we can get. She's been traveling. She's been going down the road. There she is. There she is.
I'm here.
My God. Oh, here, let me get rid of my mask. I had to do goofiness for everybody, you know.
Hey,
I always have to do that.
it keeps us young.
So you don't fly naked, do you?
Not in public.
This is your captain. This is your naked captain flying. Yeah, right. So anyway, let's talk a little bit to get the audience to know who we're talking to here. Let's talk a little bit about your military career. What you flew Chinook?
I flew Chinook CH-47.
Is that the one with the 2 propellers front and back?
It has 2 rotors. Yes, in the front.
Oh,
and
rotors.
the back.
Okay.
Rotors. Yes, they're called rotors, and those were they carry heavy lift. It's a heavy lift helicopter, so we did troops as well as gear. So we were the ones that would carry troops into contact. We carried also we would carry in equipment. We carried in some of the equipment as far as like with your CBs. We would carry in Humvees, stuff like that. Yeah,
their stuff. They got to drive down the road, so you can carry them in there. Exactly. Well, that's really cool. Look at you. I mean, that's just an impressive job. So you got a job real easy then outside of the military, huh?
Yeah, no. I'm actually right now. Actually, I'm working on a couple of things. One of the I actually work for a contractor. I work with I'm enjoying working with World War II veterans, and I'm excited to be able to bring that to you in a later show. I also am working with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council.
Yes, tell me about that.
So the California Women Veterans Leadership Council is it is a group of women in the state of California that we're in the process of trying to encompass all 58 counties, representing all 58 counties, so that we can ensure that all women veterans are getting their needs met. Because as we know, women in different areas need different things. What somebody needs in Lone Poke, California is not what somebody needs in Santa Monica.
I need somebody to come and clean my house. That's what I need.
Well, I need that too, but hey.
Well, I mean, maybe the swimming pool, that's what I hear.
So what we're trying to do is, and that's actually one of the things we're doing down here. Myself as the chair and Irma Cooper, our co-chair, we're actually coming down to San Diego for the CalVet Leadership Summit. So
that's why you're traveling right now. We had to grab you in your car and get you to pull over so we'd have a stable. But we'll do anything on Voice of the Veteran to get good guests, on the show.
Gotta do what we gotta do, right?
That's right. You need a Chinook to get down there. That's what you need.
Hey, at least if we had a Chinook, it would have been a 30-minute ride instead of 2 hours. So
that's right.
So the council is all about us trying to we're trying to register as many women veterans with CalVet. There's approximately 163,000 women veterans in California. Unfortunately, only we're just shy of 18,000 women that are actually registered with CalVet. So that is
Mm-hmm.
one of our initiatives. Is one of our initiatives to get as many women veterans to self-identify through Calvet.
I don't
And
think
I know
I'm signed up. I don't think I'm signed up with Calvet.
then one of the things that we need to do is make sure that we put that link in on your chat here through Calvet, and it's a link that connects us with Calvet to ensure that you're getting the resources that are offered by Calvet. Because see,
Right.
many people forget that there are federal benefits, but we also have state benefits. And Calvet offers many items and many services through Calvet, and we are able to share those when you're signed up. So we're able to give those items, we're able to share that information through that portal.
Right. I'm putting something in the chat right now. It's the Veterans Awareness Project. Talk to me a little bit about that. That's your own personal just tell me about it in your own words.
So just the Veteran Awareness Project, what we did is we created this project so that we can work with the top 20 defense contractors as well as Fortune 500 companies so that we can create in-house veteran service offices for them. And so that one, it will ensure that employees that are hired that are veterans or veteran families, that they will stop that turnover. So for every veteran or every employee that they lose, that's $50,000. So imagine 5 employees they lose. That's $250,000. We would actually help them stop their bottom line. But that's for the employer. But for the veteran, that means now we're teaching Fortune 500 companies and defense contractors how to keep these veterans hired. And one of those things is partnering with someone like Elizabeth, your first guest, so that those services, Elizabeth Yo.
Yeah, the one that was yeah. See how quick I forget. Yeah.
How quick you forget.
I can't forget her. I love her. I think she's terrific.
She's awesome. She's awesome. We met during Mission Continues. And you know, this is again leadership development. And this is how we ourselves have to continue to do that, you know. And the only way to share that information is to keep putting it out there in platforms like this. So thank you for having something like this, because this is how we get the word out. And this is how, you know, and hey, Dr. Cash, and this is how we get the word out, you know. I mean, I want to be able to work with these defense contractors because, for instance, Elizabeth could have come out with her security clearance. She could have come out making $100,000 a year. There's no reason for her to have had that break. And that my goal is to ensure that veterans, service members that come out of the military with their security clearance, is to connect them directly with defense contractors so that they don't have that dip in income. Because we all know we all are very beneficial because we get our BAH, because we have COLA, because we have that information, that extra finances. We come home and someone wants to shove a $15 an hour job in our face in security. I'm sorry, I did that. You know, I've worked the nonprofit sector for 20 years. I was in the military for 22 years. I myself was homeless. I myself worked in the program system.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're a pilot and you're homeless? What the heck?
Because I went through the VA gamut. I went through the drama.
I hear you. Thank you for saying that on the show. I don't know any guests that haven't told us that on the show. And now they're just these incredible people doing incredible jobs, but they need assistance, transitional assistance. And by the way, I want to mention what COLA is. It's cost of living allowance.
Yes.
I mean, I try to everything that we've got veteran shortcut for all this stuff. And I like to let the audience know COLA, cost of living allowance. Yeah, no, go for it. Tell me more.
No. So what I want, so the goal is to go into these companies, set up a veteran service office in their building so that instead of the veteran having to go to the VA to ask their questions, then they're right there.
Cry in the parking lot.
Exactly. So they're right there in their building. So General Dynamics could have somebody physically there, and this vet doesn't have to take time off work. They don't have to take time out of their schedule. Then you have happy employees. You have employees that are producing more.
Yes.
So you're not having employees that are struggling. And you know what else? Then you have your mental health side. So now you're mentally supporting your veterans. They're supporting those family members. See,
Yes.
true wraparound services is including those spouses and those family members. And so and that's another thing, just again, with the California Leadership Council, we support, we don't have a bias on, any of that. We want to make sure that our service members, their spouses and their family members are taken care of. And that is one reason why with our executive board, our executive advisory board, we do have spouses and family members that are part of our executive board, because we need to know what they know. We need to know, because I'm a spouse of a vet, but that doesn't help me. It doesn't help the council, because my thought process is skewed. My thought process is skewed because I think as a vet, I think as a combat vet, I don't think as a spouse. So I don't think as a family member. So it's important to have that knowledge so that we can truly offer wraparound services. And so, this is what's important. A lot of these organizations, and I don't knock any organization willing to help a veteran, but we need to help vets and help our brothers and sisters with our eyes wide open, not covered in cloak, not thinking, okay, well, we're helping a little. No, we need to help 100%, or we need to just, offer what we are to offer, but don't quit offering the moon if that's not what we're going to be offering.
No,
Sorry.
absolutely. I hear what, absolutely agree with you. Now, did I happen to send, we've been chatting back and forth on texting and emailing and all this kind of stuff. Did I happen to send you this cheat sheet for veterans?
You did. Thank you.
And I just put that in the chat box, because that is that is one of the best sources that I have found. Oh, there, look at MC put it up there for us. Yes, sirree. I mean, if you haven't seen that as a veteran,
that is amazing.
Have you ever, and you know what happened? The minute I showed that to Renee Andreessen at the hospital, she says, holy mackerel, I would like to put my information on that.
So do I.
For what? Well, why wouldn't you want to? I mean, it's so beautifully laid out and so easy to access information. And what is it? Cheatology.com or whatever it is. I mean, it's got, Cheatography, whatever it is. Yeah. Sounds like Cheetos.
Cheatography. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, everything that I've looked at now, I don't normally put things on this show until I've checked them out. Now, I will say this. It's so extensive that I haven't fully been able to check everything out. But everything that I have so far is accurate, current, updated, wonderful information. And there's no reason that a veteran should know about the cheat sheet. And we're going to absolutely have it available. Just hang in here with me a little bit more, because I'm just going to go ahead and show a couple of, let's see, what is this? Oh, I wanted to talk to you about the Agent Orange presumptive changes. Do you know anything? You've been hearing about that?
Well, I do know that they're talking about, some of the presumptive changes, I do believe they're starting to change, because also too, they're having some, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they extend some of the cancers?
Yes, and I have them right here. I'm going to read it right here. Bladder cancer, hypothyroidism, and Parkinson's-like symptoms are now currently on the presumptive list.
Now, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Now, with that, are they? Because I'm curious, because I've had some folks from Alaska that worked in the mail system. There's some of the folks that they were not actually physically in Vietnam, but some of the male folks have been, have been getting sicker and sicker, because they're the ones that were processing all the mail coming through Vietnam. So I'm wondering, because it makes, to me, it's kind of like common sense, I guess, when I thought about it. Because I had to run, work in the mail room when I was working in S1 in the Marine Corps. And I thought, you know what, it literally, because when you think about it, they took the mail straight from, the mail there in Vietnam. It went on it went straight to Alaska, and then it went straight to the mail room. I mean, it's not like it got dusted off, cleaned, and then taken into the mail room. So dirt and all, it was, these guys were going through it. They were breathing it and everything. So, I'm really curious to see find out if there's anything being studied or questioned about that, because I've had a couple of male guys come to, say, hey, they were like, I'm too embarrassed to ask. So I was like, shoot, I'm gonna start asking, because that's a
Oh,
very
no.
valid
There's no
question.
embarrassment about asking about a real,
No.
that's why they call it the Blue Water
Yeah,
Navy veteran.
the Blue Water, yeah.
Then there's an Air Force aspect to it of people
Because
handling
when they were
all this
coming in
kind of
and coming
stuff.
out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. So, I mean, all of this stuff is going on, and it's just kind of sad. I worry about all the people in Vietnam that got sprayed.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point. I think the younger veterans sometimes don't. And we got burn pits coming up. I'm
Yes,
going to
we
cover
do.
burn pits. Do you know any? Were you exposed to any burn pit stuff?
I was as an aviator. I mean, figure the burn pit was right there at the end of the flight line. My RB hut was at the right near the flight line, so we dealt with it all the time. You flew over them when you came in and came out. I mean, I was doused in JP8, and I think about that, and it's just like, I deal I deal with my own stuff, and it's just like,
yeah.
I read some of these things, and I'm like, obviously it's like, I look at my body and I'm like, okay, it's horrible. You're just hoping that you get the lesser of all the evils that's coming out, because it's constant, and the thought process behind what was happening and what they were doing, it's like common sense just wasn't part of the process.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta wrap the show. But I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for all your effort. Thank you for finally pulling the car over and settling down long enough for us to have an interview. For crying out loud. At least we weren't up in the airplane. We would have never stabilized the signal.
I know. Well, I gotta keep it going. But you know what? Hey, I will tell you this: you will find me live every day this week from the summit. So you guys are going to get a lot of information from us down here at the Calvet Summit, because man, I'm so excited. We have so much to share and so much that's happening. So I'm just excited. Keep us posted.
Now, do you know Mr. Crooks, Hugh Crooks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tell him I said hello. I was just at a American Legion dinner, last week with him.
Okay.
And, tell him I said hello and that you were on the podcast.
And I will tell you, Colonel Cooper, Miss Irma Cooper, she says hello. She said what she wants to say. Let everybody know she said hello. She's with me. We're on our way. We're on our way out there.
Oh, I like her. She's a wonderful person. She's kind of quiet. She there? There she is.
So for those that stay till the end, they got a sneak peek.
That's right, got a sneak peek. All righty.
Thank you so much, Gail. I appreciate it. Much love. And to all my brothers and sisters out there, don't always keep asking questions, and don't stop. Thank you for everything that everybody does. And we're here for you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Wow. That was a great show. Great guests, great information. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for watching the Voice of the Veteran show this week. Hope that there was something of value to you. And thank you for watching. And we'll be back next week with more veteran-centric insider information about the VA. And thank you to our guests again, to Elizabeth and Olivia, for taking their time to help us all be smarter about VA and veteran-centric issues and information. So I'm Gail Ochiltree, Army Airborne veteran, along with MC Franklin there in the back. This has been the Voice of the Veteran. So I'll see you next Sunday. Hooah!